Right, so what we're going to look at is a triangle again. We're going to look at the triangle at 45 degrees and how the two work together, and look at a lot of different examples of how it can be worked. So I'm going to draw my magic diagram, and excuse this. So if I have a strange fourth toe, because for some reason when I put the fifth toe on it doesn't look right. Foot. That's how I look at the feet, believe it or not. And I draw a line between them. This is one point of support, this is another point of support. This line here is like a baseline. So if I drew a triangle there and there, where this angle and this angle and this angle are all the same, and this distance, and this distance are all the same, that's an equilateral triangle. So we explained it, that this is a triangulation point, and again this angle, this angle, this angle, this distance, this distance are all the same. So this here is the triangulation points, based around this one baseline here. So another thing with the foot is that we have one point of support here and another here, one being the ball, one being the heel, and the same on here and here. So we can draw a line here and here, and again triangle. Excuse it, it's a little bit squished. Here, here. So what happens if we take something to the triangle? They will collapse. However, one thing we need to note here is that if this is our 2 points of support, this area here is is our base of support, and any points within it, triangulation points within it, won't work. So I'll take an example, and I'll use Paul. So if Paul comes here and he stands just like that, stand normally. So Paul's feet, if I push them from inside out, across, there, see how he wants to go. Very, very easy to do. If I go from outside in, doesn't want to go. 2 reasons. First of all, the way the musculature works, it's harder to push a foot that way, in like this, than it is to turn it outwards. It's just the way it works. Secondly, this is inside his base of support, this area here. So by pushing here, I'm pushing into his support, whereas here I'm not. And he goes. To show you this and how it works differently, if he takes a big step forward. Now, his base of support is like a long sausage. From this foot to that foot and back. That's where his base of support is. So the triangle on this foot here now is about here. It's not actually in that base of support. And you see how now it wants to go. So if his feet are like this, it's very difficult. If his feet are a crazy stance, a lot easier. So the more we can stretch someone out, the easier it is to get them to fall over using that triangle. So the first thing that we're going to look at is attacking that foot. So if he was to come and he was to grip or something, from here, I can use this, kick in here, there, very easy to start taking him down. But I can use another manner, like if he goes to kick or something, here. Now from this position here, easy to take him down. I can use, he goes to kick, put it on the inside, there. And attacking it. All these things work really good. I can also, if he's grips or something like here, I can use here. I can use it like a kick. He comes towards me or something here, and I push it sideways. But the easiest one is just here, that way, there. And there I'm pushing inside to out. So I want you to play with that a little bit, but also what I want you to look at is the triangulation to front and back. Remember, it's this point here. If I take him down to it, he'll go. The easiest motion to take him down to it is what's called question mark. It is a question mark shape. Because what I need is something to push on. I can't, if you stay straight and flat, if I try and push him down to this point here, because it's so near to here, I can't do it. I just sort of kind of smear myself down his face. However, if his head's back, I have something to lean on. Very, very easy. So, here, very easy. Two things to note. One, under here, because if I go on here, be strong. Again, I haven't got anything to push on, and this is very easy to resist. Here, very easy. Even easier. He's not going to push against that. Very easy. This is like a supplementary principle of structured breaking, painful points. We try to, as much as possible, use painful points because it's like an amplifier. It amplifies the effect of what we're doing. Taking him backwards is very easy because the way the structure is, by going here, see how his centre of mass moves is really easy. His centre of mass is around his hips. It moves very easy going backwards because this hinges, but going this way, it's harder because it bends here. It's harder to get him to fall over. You can work from the hips and take the hips here down to it, and especially if you can get hold of like strong pair of pants, it works a lot easier. But preferably, it's easier to go backwards. And this question mark is important because it's like what they call an accumulation of force. Because here I have painful point, I have triangle, I have my mass, his mass, and acceleration of gravity by bending my weight. And this is the real crucial thing. I want you to get used to. Whatever takedown you're doing, you start using your knees. We seem to walk around too straight. There. If I've hit, his head's gone back, I can just get to it. Because I've got that ledge. So if Paul comes like in and to grab me or something, and I go, work there, see how he's leant? Very easy. So if I create the barrier that he's scared of, work there, very, very easy to put him down. Because I create barrier, I end up with ledge. Once I have ledge, I can push on the ledge. So if he comes to grab, work there, very easy. But I have to have something to lean on, because if he's flat, I go here, if nothing happens, he doesn't feel threat, I've got nothing to push on. Nothing to push on at all. So what I want you to do is just start off to take a person, push them inside, push them outside, then get them to stand wide, see how it's easier. Then I want you to take person, take them, try and take the triangle when they're flat, it's not working, then use question mark, use your weight, play with the one to the front, from hips, that way, and then we'll look at some more variations of it. Have a go at that one. The problem with taking it forward is this bend, and yeah, we can kind of work on the hips. We can get here, use that a little bit, but it's messy. What is better is to work on it this way, here. So I sink and I hit this way, like I'm brushing, and down to this spot here. That works really good. Same thing from here, this way, there. Sinking, there. It's working on mechanics and not on he feels lots of force. It's on mechanics. So that's another thing to play with. Also look at playing with the triangle on the outside and the 45 degrees, you can come in from the side. Because if I look at this series of triangles and I draw my imaginary line through them and through them, these lines go off over here into distance and up here in distance. If I take their centre of mass down towards this line at the angle of 45 degrees, it's halfway between the two planes of the body, the vertical planes and the horizontal planes of the body, whether it be the sagittal or the frontal and the horizontal plane. It's halfway, so it's neither. But if I just took it to a point over here, so I took part of his body to this point over here, it's not on this magic line. So here's pull. The magic line is there's a line actually along the tiles, which is quite cool, is there. So if I take his head to this line at 45 degrees, which is here, there, very easy to make it fall over. I'm going to take his head at 45 degrees, so leaning backwards. I'm going to take it at 45 degrees, but I'm going to take it over here. Watch what happens. He wants to step. So I've got him here, and I'm going to take him over here. He wants to step because he can. But when his weight is equally loaded between those two bases of support, he can't. Same thing can be achieved from the side. I come in this way here, one base of support, two, there's a triangle, the line goes off in the distance over there. And I sink my weight, I create a ledge by coming in sideways. There's my ledge. Now if I go and step over here, see how he steps. Here I sink to 45 degrees that way. No, don't fall over just for the sake of it. I'm going to take you over here. Boom, see he wants to step with this leg here. But if I take him and I sink there, works really well. So again I can use principle question mark coming in here and make it fall over. So and the way I like to practice, I like to isolate principle, not think of it like self-defense, just think of it like principle, and work principle for a little while. Let's not worry about self-defense. Let's just, at a moment, dream about the possible, not the probable, and explore these possibilities of what we're playing with, and go from there, and then we work it down and boil it down to the probable. So from here, sideways, in. It's important that my feet are not out like this, but we kind of come in from the side. There's lots of other stuff I can do. I can take it forwards and spin him around and all sorts of crazy stuff. But from here, I'm just going to sink at 45 degrees in that direction. And you'll see that he goes down. Here, 45 degrees, there. One last one, which is quite good, and one from the book. Turn sideways now, so face the camera. Here, the reason I'm doing that is because his foot was pointing over here. If his foot's pointed this way, the triangle is actually this way here. And though I can do it here, I want it to look good for the camera, so I've turned his foot flat this way. Now, if I pulled it off over here, it wouldn't work because he'd step with that other left leg. Yes, he'd step. Whereas, if I take him, let's put this really parallel. Now, if I take it this way, parallel with the triangles here, the line goes straight off over here. I can take this at 45 degrees this way, and I can sink it this way. And you can see now that he can't step because he'd have to step through the supporting leg. He would, as he goes, have to step through here. That's why he can't base out in this direction. And there he goes. So I want you to play with those. And just experience it. Don't worry about as a technique of self-defense at the moment. Just get used to principle, and then we'll put them into stuff. I'm seeing a lot of this. This 45 degrees from the horizontal. But you're moving like this, then like this. You get to the same spot. But it's not 45 degrees. You're moving like this, then this. Like this, and then that. Like this, then this. All goes to the same spot. You're like, I've got the right spot, it's there. But it's not 45 degrees. 45 degrees is one movement down at that angle. So that is really, really important, because if I take Paul, and I take him, I take him 1, 2. 45 degrees. Now, we're going to look at one thing extra. To go from static here and take 45 degrees is quite a challenge. It's a training exercise. If he's completely resistive, it can be hard because I've got to create movement. We'll look at creating movement a little. Here's hard because if I'm gripping here and I want to maintain hard clutch, I have to get really quite low. If I want to do that with good posture, it's quite a challenge. It's one thing working from here and working works quite well, especially if you block the foot and create a couple. However, this is more accessible. So we're going to work from here. This is a good position to work from. From here, I want to push it up a little bit into him. And I'm going to draw like a loop, like a circle, like a question mark. The tail of the question mark can either go to the triangle, or it can go at 45 degrees to this magic line, to the magic line that runs off here. Here, it creates movement. Here, forward, down he goes. This is a lot better. Now, if I have hold of him and he starts to pull away, pull, he's going in that direction. So if I resist him, we just cancel each other out. Pull away. Pull, pull. Pull, see, there, pull. No, you're not pulling. You're not actually pulling. You stood there, but you're not pulling. Pull. Try to get away. You're not trying to get away, are you? Pull. Try to pull. No, actually try and pull and get away from it. There, it's trying to get away. Now pull. Because it needs to work with honesty. If he just stood there going, it's not pulling away. Pull away. See, not so away. We should go there. Pull away. There, see, now he's pulling away. Pull away. Works better. So this is the drill. Here, he pulls, go with it, and then down. Either to the one at the side, or if I'm behind, here, he pulls to go forward. There. Works really, really well. But what it isn't, stop, it is that angle there, 45 degrees. Not, stop, stop. Yes? Have a go at that. I'm going to use the biggest, tallest person, the most impressive looking one of the lot of you. When I thought that Ian was tall, I think this guy might actually be as tall. But, no. So, if I've got him, remember it's got to go to the line, it's kind of from here. If I'm with him, he's struggling here, it works really, really easy. If I'm using his force against him. One more time. I'm here, trying to get away. Now we go. Sitting down. Again. So now we say, right, whoa. Realistically, if I'm getting hold of someone and moving, I've got to hold him here and he starts to struggle here. I can still do the same thing here. Very easy. I'm trying to take him down to the floor. Sorry. And I'm here, I'm trying to get his head back and he starts to go this way. Same thing. I go with it, switch the vector. There's a few other little bits and tricks going on here. By pulling here and pushing here, I've got what's called a couple. Two forces go in opposite directions around 1 point rotation. But I go with, boom, there he goes. Again, 45 degrees. Even if I've got him in a comedy headlock, here he starts trying to stand up, Same thing again. One last thing, I've got him in an arm lock here. I can just take him to the floor by taking this point 45 degrees. Dead easy. Again, stands up. Same arm lock. 2 points of support, triangle, line going off into the distance. 45 degrees this way. Forward, he goes down. Last one's really horrible. Well, the last two, sorry. I'm in here. I can take him 45 degrees to that one. It's not as good because we lose hard clutch. Last one's a beaut. Save best for last. Here, I can take this at 45 degrees, 1 point, 2 point, triangle. I can take it to the triangle point, or 45 degrees. There's the problem, it falls into the arm lock. Very good for wrenching it out of the socket. So don't do it very often. But it works really, really well. One last thing with this. I've got him here. I want him on the floor. The only thing I can do is do a spiral. Because a spiral is basically like a long angle plane wrapped around a central point. I can do that. I can take it at 45 degrees. Round, 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 round. And he will follow it down to the floor. Very, very easy. It's just uncomfortable. Just take your time with it because these things pop. So do it from here. Do it from here. From this one here, it starts to go up, so I go with it, and then down. I follow it with a question mark. This one, I follow it with question mark. I can other places I can do. From the back, get hold of the hips here. Works really good. One more again. Get hold of hips. Works really good. So all of these things I want you to play with. Just get so familiar with these things because then when we start putting them into self-defense stuff, we have a feeling for it, we know what we're doing with it. Have a go. The idea is that this 45 degrees is like a resultant angle. Now, if wheels stood still and I push it 45 degrees is one thing. But I can achieve 45 degrees by just pushing down. If I push down at the same rate that he moves forward. So if he starts walking forward and I go down, so just walk and just keep walking through. So he walks there. I'm pushing down at the same speed he's going down here. The first time I saw this was on the Master of Fighting DVD and it looked like magic. Ryabko does this and the guy just goes and you think, my God, what's happened there? And everyone's trying to do it and it's not working. But all it is that if he keeps walking, he's got to keep walking. Because if he stops, it doesn't work. But if he keeps walking and walks through, and I sink my weight, and I sink that weight at the same time that he's travelling through, we have a collapse. Because if that speed is the same as that speed, then we have the resultant angle is 45 degrees. So that's the next thing to look at, is the idea that he walks, and we do that. So he keeps walking, but if he stops, it won't work. It won't work. He's got to walk, keep walking. Again, he walks through me again. Walk. Like that. It's a bit of a gimmicky trick, I think, but it's something you can use and play with a little bit, and at least understand why it works. Because again, if we understand why, we can look at what someone's doing and think, that's why they're doing it, that's how it's working, and then I can replicate it. But the problem is, if no one explains to us these things, we're left there thinking it's magic. And that's when myth can kind of surround something. There is nothing out there that's myth. It is all very explainable, but we have to understand it. This one here is simple. He's walking through and he keeps walking. And all I do is I sink my weight on his head at the same speed that he walks forward. So long as he keeps walking forward, and there's the trick, the person needs to keep walking forwards, they sink the weight, they drop to the floor, because the resultant is 45 degrees. So have a go at that one. Continue the push. So if I'm working against Will, and Will now looks at actually, we're starting to get into actually doing something with it now. He comes and he kicks. No, straight kick. So I'm moving out of the way here, and I push here. Down he goes, 45 degrees. Which is that kind of nice, and it's very quiet. I can do kind of quiet work. I'm here, I get all there. Or I can work. Or I can just be really short with it. Same thing. All the same stuff, but the idea is I get out the leg. There, push down. I can come out the way here. Do the same there. Here's interesting, because if I don't push it and I push here, nothing happens. But here, hold this here, and then I push here, and I take this down. Works really well. Here, there. Here, there. Here, from here, just take this, either down and out, so triangles about there, or 45 degrees. The important thing is I get way out of this leg. I can either use what's called square step, here, or I can use angle plane, here. I can just literally move and work from here. It doesn't matter, I can use this movement. All these movements are great for straight kicks. But what's important is that the push or punch is towards the triangle. In this case, because he steps out, here, 1, 2, it's this way. That way there. Not over here. But I can take him that way, because his foot was pointing sort of a funny angle, so the line was over there. Here, triangle is not there. Triangle is there. So all of this kind of soft stuff you see is basically about looking at pure principle. Here, there. One thing to do with arm, better with body weight. So I'm now using complete use of my body. Here, there. Ooh. There. Here, I can take him, if I wanted to, I could take him this way, to there, so I like pull. And this one here becomes, because there's the angle from his foot, so if I pull him to that point there, that's where you kind of catch him, this way, there. And there's an element of leverage going on, because if I'm at any point where I'm blocking here, this is what's caused a couple, because there's a force and a force, which just makes it easier. Working against the head, working big strike, but you see it's all the same. Working against groin or against hips, all the same stuff. All the same stuff. No magic. Right here, I end up in the straight. He grabs me. Here, oh, he's grabbing me. It's a point. Whichever way, he comes and gets up there, hugs me. Here, I'm stuck. He's trying to move me. He's trying to take me. But if I take him towards triangle, there. Same again. So work against the kicks, play with them. We'll look at grabs a bit more, look at strikes, and build it up. We've been looking at everything we've looked at is involving 2 points of support. The ball of the foot, the heel, the one foot, the other foot. It could be that for some crazy reason he puts a hand on the floor and he lifts up a foot. Now, 1 point, 2 points, there's a triangle. Doesn't matter what the points of support are. Dead easy. But what happens if we have 3 points of support? More points of support. We'll put 2 feet in a hand now. So now he's leaning on his hand, he's leaning on here. Well, I've still got 1, 2, triangle. And the corresponding 45 degrees. 1, 2. Same again. 1, 2. Now, the triangle on this side is in his base of support. So I can't take him, resist, in there. Doesn't work. Triangle this side, however, does work. Again. 1, 2. Triangle inside, kind of where his foot is. It kind of messes that all up a bit. But, well, it's actually over there, so it probably doesn't. Because his feet are so wide apart. Alright, that's interesting. 1, 2. Knee, foot, 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 hand. All of these are baselines for different triangles. So you really, that's a spot for choice. It's a spot for choice.
Yeah, that's coming.
1, 2. Here it doesn't work because it's in base of support. But 1, 2, triangle. Triangle, magic line goes off out over there. Magic line to 45 degrees, works. So now we start to work again. I'm starting to work with foot and knee. Yeah? Because I don't really want to be always reaching with my hands towards him. 1, 2, line, triangle, 45 degrees. And we see where we're going with it. So I can start to use my knees. If I'm working against Paul and I put him on the floor, so we're here, and I go, and he goes boom to the floor, and he starts getting up, and he goes onto all fours, I can start playing using my knees, 1, 2, my hands, and I can start using it to try and keep him on the floor. So he's trying to get up, keep trying to get up, again, keep trying to get up, again. So every point that he creates points of support, I take him to triangle, and I keep him on the floor. So every time he gets up, there's again. Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going, try again. So have a go at this with your hand and with your feet. One person keeps trying to get up. Do it slowly to start off with. At this pace, and build it up as you get better. So this gives us he's on the floor now. My job is to keep him there. His job is to get up. So off we go. So I'm using the principles of triangle. So if he starts getting up, I'm also putting pressure in different places. He goes, get up. Pushing on the ends of the levers.
have a little go. There should be an element of competition, gentle competition. Build it up for those who can do it.
Right, what I want us to look now is at the next principle in structure breaking. So we've looked at hard clutch before, we've looked at triangle, we've looked at 45 degrees. The next one is kind of supplementary, and it's a rotation in 3 planes, but it's kind of the sexy one, I think, of all of the things. First we need to understand what the 3 planes are. We break down the human body and divide it in a sheet that runs down like this, straight away down to the floor, like a sheet of glass, cuts him in half that way. And you can see it from the front, therefore it's called the frontal plane. A rotation in the frontal plane is any time that moves him side to side like that. That is frontal plane movement. If I cut him in half with my sheet of glass this way, and I rotate him here, that is a sagittal plane. So any rotation like that is a rotation in the sagittal plane. If I cut him in half with the glass going this way, that is a horizontal plane. So any rotation in this way is a rotation in the horizontal plane. Now if Paul lays on the floor, so lays on the floor, face up. So he's laying on the floor here. If he sits up, that is still sagittal plane. If he lays down, if he rolls that way, that is still horizontal plane. If he twists his body flat, flat with just there, that's it, there and back, that is still the frontal plane, just because he's laying down. So it's not about where they're stood, it's about their shape. Yeah? So if he stands up. So how does that affect us? If he is rotated in one plane, it does not a lot to his structure, doesn't make him fall over. If I rotate him in one plane, then 2 planes, he's still can kind of hold on to that. But if I rotate him then in the 3rd plane, he falls over. And it doesn't matter what order I do it in. I might rotate him first in the horizontal plane, then in the frontal plane, then in the sagittal plane. I might rotate him in the sagittal plane. I might then rotate him in the horizontal plane, and then I might tilt him in the frontal plane. It doesn't matter which order we do it in. Out of interest, if there was any plane that is easy to shift, the easiest one to shift is the one in the horizontal plane. That is the easiest. So if I had to take it down and I had to start the movement somewhere, I would start that movement ideally in that horizontal plane. So what I want you to do to start off with is a little bit false, but I want you to understand what you are trying to achieve. So first of all, I want you to rotate them in one plane and know that that is the frontal plane, then put them back. Then I want you to rotate them in another plane and then know that's the sagittal plane, and then put them back. Then I'll rotate them in the horizontal plane. I know which one it is. And make sure you know what they're called and what they are. So just do that for a few times and then we'll build it up from there. So I take pull. Now I can start to combine them. So what I don't really want to be doing is lots of hand changes. I put my hand on here and I might rotate horizontal, sink a bit of sagittal, move frontal. I might work here, I might tilt him slightly over there so he's gone frontal and he's started to go sagittal. All I need to do then is rotate. I might have bent him over here, so he's now gone in the sagittal. I step across, now he's gone in the frontal. All I need to do is to make him go in the horizontal. So it's still very sort of prescribed, but it's teaching us how to do it. I've moved here, this is rotated horizontally. Then I take him here, he's going sagittally. All I need now is a little bit of frontal. I might have come in here, he's bent forward, therefore he's in the sagittal. I start to rotate, now he's gone in the horizontal. And then I give him a little bit or frontal. And this is kind of what I want you doing, some different positions. Even like I've got him in a headlock here. I've now got him bent forward, sagittal, rotating. He's now gone horizontal. All I need to do is give him a little bit of frontal. It doesn't matter what I'm working with. Take his fingers. I take him here, a little bit sideways. Now he's gone in frontal, sagittal, and I need a little bit of
horizontal.
Horizontal. There, boom. Here, here, here. Here. Just get used to it. Get into hold of something, and then find there's one. It's got one plane, 2 planes, 3 planes. And it's just a case of just finding those planes. I can create what's called a couple. Basically, it's a force here and a force here. 2 forces that are opposite but parallel. This allows me then just to rotate him, rotate him, rotate him. At the moment we're doing 1, then 2, then 3. We're not doing it simultaneously, which we will do in a minute. So take that, 1, 2, 3, make it fall over. I've been taking it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. But I can take him in one movement. That movement is a spiral or a screw. So if I take him in a screw, this time I've screwed him around his vertical axis. So if I turn him here, now he's gone slightly in the frontal. As I turn him, he's gone in the sagittal. And he's gone in the horizontal. Boom, there he goes. Same here. Rotation in 3 planes. Now again, notice I had my knee was behind here. I can do it if he doesn't resist. I can do it there. But who's going to do that for you? But if I put this behind here, very easy. It's part of the systems and leverage. It's part of another principle. However, it's important for this. What we're doing is creating what's called a couple. 2 forces that are around a point of rotation that are opposite and parallel. Here. Now don't push this knee forward like this and raising my heel. I just sink my weight. Now it's using the leverage. As I drop my weight, my knee has to go forward. There. So now I'm using my mass and acceleration provided by gravity. It becomes a lot easier. Here. So it's not about kneeing his leg forward, because if he's strong, I can't do it. There I can do really easy. So what I want you to do is use this idea of spiral. Spiral. I can do 1, 2, 3 with face. Here I can work, find the spot. Again, it's still not self-defense, but it is about learning which principles I'm using and using the idea of spiraling him into the ground. That's slightly different than just going here and rotating him here, because there I've only really got him in 2 planes and there's something slightly different going on with the feet, whereas here I took him as well in the frontal plane, and so it's a bit different from wheel and axle, which is a kind of a principle of leverage. You can play him from here and rotate him in spiral this way. Notice he's got to go in all of the planes. If I leave him stood upright, I stand here, it's not going to work because he's not gone in the frontal plane. Frontal, sagittal and horizontal. So judo throws it is basically, can be, rotating them in all 3 planes. Can be, or it could be 2 planes and they just stop you stepping. But here, if I step in across, it lightens him up. He's no longer the slender guy he is. He becomes like a feather. Here, whoop. There you go. Now look, he's light. And I sink my weight to make it like a corkscrew into the ground. I don't stand up here and then just rotate like this, because he can step round with his back leg, boom, and he can rebase. Because I only took 2 planes there. But here, and it works really well. So try that one from the side, this one from the back. Try the one from the fingers, there. Like that. Have a go at those. Paul's got a stick and he wants to whack me with the stick. So he's going to try and crack me. Here. I'm using this step here this way. This is the what we call round step as opposed to square step. If he was hitting straight down like this, I'd use this movement here. This is a square step. There, and I'm using this movement of the arm. But what I'm going to look at is coming this way. I'm going to create angled plane. Remember we discussed angled plane when we were looking at low acrobatics and defending against kicks. It's no different. There. Now, what's this done to him? If we just take a freeze frame for a second, he's now rotated in the horizontal plane and he slightly dips in the frontal plane, which means he doesn't need much in this plane and sink, he goes down. So if he hits 3 planes, now he's not bringing a lot of energy to this party at the moment because we're training slow, we're feeling about it and getting the confidence in it, but as we go it works. Now he comes faster. Now he comes really fast. Because he's bringing more energy. It's even easier for the rotation in 3 planes to take place. Yeah. Because he screws himself into the ground. If we just do it slowly, slow motion, here 1 plane, 2 planes, 3 planes. So it is just an expression of 3 planes. Now, slowly again, if he hits with a stick and I meet the stick out here with angled plane, it might work, but that's moving pretty fast and it's pretty hard. It's going to hurt. I want to step in here because this bit is not going as fast and it's not as long, so the force is not magnified by this dirty great lever. I step in here and work. I don't try and work at the business end because that is going way too fast for me to deal with. Way too fast. So from here I step in. Whoa, there. So if he goes fast, there. So have a go at it. Even if you go slowly, do it committed so the other guy gets a feel for it. Have a go at that. I've got some sticks.